People are looking for solutions and these companies are offering it to them. But the question is, do they work? Is it a good idea? That's what we're looking at here today.
If you've got more debt than you can handle, maybe you're considering using a debt settlement company. But is that a good idea? And what are your alternatives? We're going to find the answer to those questions and more right now as we Ask the Lawyer. Hi again, everybody. I'm Rob Rosenthal with AskTheLawyers.com, and my guest is Dallas attorney David Shuster. I want to remind you right off the top, if you want to ask David questions about your situation, it's easy to do. Go to AskTheLawyers.com. There's a button at the top of the page that says Ask a Lawyer. You click there, it'll walk you through the very simple process, or you can call the phone number that will be on the screen when we talk to David. David, good to see you again. Thank you for making some time to help us out.
Yeah, thanks, Rob, as always. Yeah, it's great to see you.
So let's just start with maybe a little bit of definition information. Debt settlement companies, what are they and what do they purport to do for consumers?
Yeah, thank you, Rob. Well, what happens is when someone realizes that they need some help with their mainly unsecured debt, right? And so the debt settlement companies purport to help you with that, right? Just pass it over to us, this company. We're professionals. We know what we're doing. All you need to do is tell us how much debt you have, and we'll take a set amount out of your bank account every month.
Okay.
And ultimately, they'll start to take that money, and they have, it's a fee structure. So, you might be dealing with a company in Arizona or Michigan or California. And so, if you're in Texas, like I am in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you may not even be set up with any, with a firm or with a company that actually knows how the Texas laws apply, which is very concerning. The big impact is people are looking for solutions, and these companies are offering it to them. But the question is, do they work? Is it a good idea? That's what we're looking at here today.
Well, answer those questions. Do they work? Is it a good idea?
Well, I tell you, Rob, it depends. I would, by and large, no. I'm not saying all debt settlement companies are bad, but mostly it's a solution to a problem. If you have the money and you're not concerned about how much you pay back, if you want to pay back close to 90%, 80, 90%, sometimes more of your outstanding debt, then you just need a company to take it over for you, and you have $60,000 of debt, and you don't have a problem paying $1,000 a month to a debt settlement company, because when you had that outstanding debt that you were paying on, the minimum payments were as much as $1,800 a month. So you'll just pay this debt settlement company less than you were paying all the cards when you were current on them, and then in so many years it'll be resolved. But as time goes on and you're paying this debt settlement company money to really just send out cease and desist letters so they don't call you, the question is, how effective is it and how much are they charging you? Because a lot of times the fees are 15 to 25% of the outstanding debt. They base the fees, when I looked around at them, the fees are based on the total outstanding debt, which is a little troubling. If you have $60,000 of outstanding credit card debt, then your fees to a debt settlement company will be as much as $12,500, and that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot to pay. It's I can tell you right now, even if you have credit cards that have been turned over to attorneys, you're not going to be paying me near that if you want me to resolve your $60,000 worth of debt. So it's better to use a local attorney. It's cheaper. You'll have someone there if you get a letter from an attorney. If you get a lawsuit, you'll have an attorney to handle it. A local attorney offers also better settlement percentages. Quite frankly, you have a law office that is going to beat the creditors down and get you a better percentage. On average, we look to have like a 50%. On average. Sometimes it's a little bit more. Sometimes we get deals for far less. It just depends. Things change over time too. As creditors sell debts off and it changes hands, you just send the new letter that you got in the mail to us, and we'll respond to it. We'll keep a spreadsheet that has your total outstanding balances, and we'll answer all your questions. And we bill basically as any attorney would bill hourly. So it's not set up as like, oh, well, if you have $100,000 worth of debt, then your fee is going to be $15,000, which that's 15%. That would be the least amount you'd pay a debt settlement company if you have $100,000 worth of debt. $15,000. With me, it's not going to be that high, and you're far better service.
A little bit of the research that I did, David, it seems like with some of these companies, not only are you paying the fee, what can be a very high fee, but it can end up not helping your credit rating or even hurting your credit rating after it's all said and done. Have you seen that?
I'm glad you brought that up because yes, your credit is, as you're not paying, is just continually getting dinged monthly. Okay, so the process of debt settlement requires that you first default on your debt if you're not already. So you will suffer negative consequences whether using an attorney or a debt settlement company. But yeah, I mean it's a long, drawn out process. And so usually the process depends on the timing of the creditors and how quickly they're willing to give you deals. But yeah, I mean, that's a really big point to consider, is that until you actually do start paying on some of this debt and settling it, your credit it's going to be a while before it starts to pick up. And I'm also a bankruptcy attorney. That's my primary practice area. So the good news is that's something that we can always talk about. We can mention to a creditor that that's our alternative if you are not going to give us a good deal. And it's a very valuable tool in the tool chest of bankruptcy is, even though a lot of folks would do the debt settlement instead because it offers more control to the client and also the ability to earn the higher income and not have to pay everybody back 100%.
And explain to me the difference then between debt settlement and debt consolidation.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's a good point too. Debt consolidation just implies that you're putting it all into one payment. So a lot of times people think of debt settlement as debt consolidation because they're making one payment to a debt settlement company, but really, you know, they're piecemealing out the payments. And debt consolidation implies that you're going to get a loan to pay off all of the debt and then just pay off that one loan. So you've consolidated all of your debt into now one new loan, right? And oddly enough, these debt settlement companies will loan you that money. They turn it themselves into a creditor and say, okay, client, we'll loan you the $45,000 or whatever it is, to settle this debt, and it'll be a 12% interest loan, and we'll settle with the creditors, and we'll loan you the money to do that. And so then you're trading off this new payment, and you're indebted to them. But it implies this wrapping it all into one loan. And the bottom line is a lot of it sounds easy, it sounds quick, it sounds like a solution, and that's what people are looking for, is a solution. But you got to read the fine print. You got to find out how much it's going to cost you in the end. What is your average net savings? I mean, you're talking about your household dollar that you work hard for every day. Okay, you don't want to just turn over a big percentage of that to a debt settlement company. I mean, if you have a couple of small debts, you can do it on your own. But if you have several and you have ones that are more than a year or two late, it's probably a good idea to get an attorney. You'll save money in the end.
And David, in your experience, have you had clients who come to you after first talking to these debt settlement companies and maybe they are surprised to find out it's not what they thought it was?
That's exactly right. They've either talked to some and have said, and they let us know that, we talked to one, the payment was going to be this high. I'm sure glad I called you now. There is a big number of them that have been on debt settlement programs because, again, people are looking for solutions. You're talking about good people here, not people that are trying to get out of debt. Good people, especially with the circumstances that have happened with our economy in the past couple of years. I mean, people are having to utilize credit card debt more to make living expenses. And so these good folks are just looking for answers. And so, yeah, I mean, they come from having paid a debt settlement company $700 a month, for 12 months. And then they come to me and say, oh, I sure wish I wouldn't have done that, but they still have, a lot of outstanding debt that we can now resolve and a lot of times take care of it with a Chapter 7 bankruptcy to just, stop all these payments and discharge everybody.
What if they wanted, maybe they've looked around, maybe they've seen the ads, David, and they go, well, that debt settlement, that sounds like the solution to my problems. Does it cost them anything to call your firm and go, hey, just tell me what my options are, or what can I do? Can they just get like an initial consultation to figure out where they should go?
That's a good point, Rob. If someone's watching this video, it means they're looking for information. If you're in Texas, particularly in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I mean, give me a call. You'll talk to you might get talk to my legal assistant first, maybe my associate attorney or myself. Yeah, and it's a free telephone consultation for anybody that's asking about debt settlement and bankruptcy. So you're already looking for information by watching this video. So taking the next step to call somebody real quick and give them the rundown of your situation only just makes sense. It's just better information. It's more specific to your situation.
Really good information from you, as always, David. Thank you for making some time to help us out. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
That's going to do it for this episode of Ask the Lawyer. My guest has been Dallas attorney David Shuster. I'll remind you that if you want to talk to David, ask him questions of your own, go to askthelawyer.com. There's a button at the top of the page that says Ask a Lawyer. Very simple form to fill out right there, or you can call the number that's on the screen. Thank you for watching. I'm Rob Rosenthal with Ask the Lawyers.